Yeah. All right, cool. Snapping is what we do in the poetry world when we think something is dope or like deep or it connects to you in a really awesome way. So if you hear anything in my poem that you're like, yo, I like that, you can snap for it. It's not considered rude or obnoxious. It's actually welcome. Cool. I'm gonna get started. The first time I was ever required to write poetry for school credit, I received an F. F for failure, failed to follow rules, to write inside the lines, to line up my poem perfectly. To rhyme rhetoric like it's rehearsed itself on my paper, performed a perfect pirouette. But my words preferred to break like b-boys, to beatbox. My words felt a little more hip-hop, and Miss Rice didn't find it suitable for an English class. That I wrote poems that set my soul free, words freestyling to the beat. She didn't want to read poems that felt more like corridos, more like barrio fiction, like Spanish diction, like storytelling. Like it didn't matter if my poems sang ballads in fire, spoke the language of rushing rivers, breathed the Bosque into motion like dragon's breath, cried like weeping woman, Llorona, frightened the children into believing there is so much power that lies within a voice. My voice rises like a phoenix, sets the planets on fire, breaks the light into 1,000 stars, bleeds through any fabric, challenges the depths of the sea, channels the inner goddess in me, embraces divinity, faces adversity, spits in its face. My poems don't paint Mona Lisa's smile. Instead, they spray Frida Kahlo's eyebrows onto brick walls. My poems light a candle and ask La Virgen to make it better. I write myself into the full moon so that the wolves will sing to me, howl to me. My poems are a warrior cry, a battle song, a dancing tongue with 2 left feet. My poems are the indigo in my blood. It's what makes me a child of the desert, daughter of the mountain, sister of the sunset. We share secrets and braid the colors of her hair into the sky. My poems speak for the trees in my backyard, how the cottonwood and the oak tree battle to see whose roots are deeper seeped into the ground. My poems are the roots of forbidden fruits, the lips of Eve and the sweet sinful juice that falls from them. My poems are the poison and the potions. My poems are potent and they only wish to speak the truth. Some would say my words feel foreign, feel forbidden, feel like failure in a classroom, a big fat F written in red, etched across the poem about my childhood, the poem about my upbringing, the poem about my grandmother's tamales and the dinosaur TV in my living room and the dirty pair of shoes I threw over the telephone wire and the time I scraped my knee on the pavement and my first fist fight and the first time I got butterflies, the last time I swore I let my heart break, and the day I was no longer afraid of bleeding, of being woman and monster at the same time, because A+ poems don't set themselves on fire, don't explode like tick, 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 ticking time bombs. They don't travel back into time to tell the history of what really happened. A+ poems sound more like dead white guys, sound like proper English, like similes sitting in a classroom. A+ poems don't mention your uncle's heroin addiction or your grandmother's beating heart. How the doctors say it's close to giving up, how mama can't afford her mortgage, how you haven't seen your father in weeks. There's no pain in A+ poems, no resolution, no cathartic release, no answers, no question, no questioning government, no questioning authority, no questioning God, no praying to God, no prayers, just lines of poems that line themselves up like soldiers going marching one by one, pledge their allegiance to classroom standards, follow good directions. She gave me an F because I didn't follow directions when writing poems, as if structure is what makes me a great poet, as if standards define art. And there, in institutionalized academia, I was told I'm not a good poet by a woman who only saw the margins and the formats and the rules that were broken by each stroke of my pen, but didn't see me for who I am. And now 7 years later, I'm on a stage with lights and a mic in the ears of hundreds or even thousands who came to listen to the F+ poet. If I had a chance to redo that poetry book for an A, I'd guzzle it in gasoline and light a match, because no amount of whack metaphor or censorship could convince me that my words aren't the strongest thing I have, that my voice isn't the sound of survival, that my heart isn't evident in every page that I write. To the last word, I will stand and speak until every student realizes there are superpowers that lie within their voice box, waiting to save the world, that their love and pain is worth writing about, and their words will leave legends that make them legendary. A reminder that they are far from failure. Thank you.